everyone, and welcome to a new continuing segment here at the Mo2 Classics channel. We're doing these comic reviews for actionfeatures.net. Actionfeatures.net is another website I'm a part of. So there's mo2figures.com, 1989batman.com, a piece of the action.net, and now actionfeatures.net. And that's sort of the catch-all site for other things like comics and movies and the Action Features podcast I do with Mike, other toys, things like that. For the comic segment, one of the things we're going to do here is Blaze and I go to the comic shop each week.
Yep.
Oh, in case this is your first video you're watching, I'm James Sawyer, otherwise known as Sala. This is my son Blaze. We like comics, toys, and other things. So do you, or you wouldn't be watching this video. So we go to the comic shop each week, and we pick out books to go home and read. Blaze gets one issue, and then I'll usually grab a trade paperback or something like that. I also work at the comic shop on Wednesday mornings to help out, and Friday evenings. But we're making special trips just for me and him to get comics. Just like I did when I was a kid.
We have no idea what part of the week, but...
We have no idea what day we're going, but we're going to go at some point each week. We've done it weeks, you know. So, we thought that we would do videos based on what we pick up, giving sort of retro reviews. This is actually going to be called, I think, Comics Rewind Reviews. ActionFeatures.net presents Comics Rewind Reviews. Because for the most part, these won't be current books. Because in the current day comics, I'm not a really big fan of the new 52 thing at DC or what Marvel's been doing for years. They've kind of lost me as a reader. But I still really enjoy those characters, and I really enjoy picking up back issues and trades and things like that. So...
I know one thing you don't like about Batman anymore.
What's that?
Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to tell them, though.
Yeah.
Because some people might not have read that issue.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say anything about that. So there are some current comics, though, that I do enjoy. Star Trek and Turtles from IDW, those are good. So those might sneak into here. Those won't be rewind reviews, obviously. They'll be current reviews. But for the most part, you got it. It's going to be old reviews.
For me, they will be old.
Yeah, they'll almost all be old reviews. For this week, I have a trade. I picked up a trade that I finished off, but I went ahead and brought the other trades out because they all go together. And Blaze picked up an issue of Batman Adventures. He picked up Batman Adventures number 5.
Issue 5. It's pretty early in. I'm going to get at issue 1 next time.
Are you going to try for issue 1? I don't think he has issue 1, but we'll look. Blaze, we're both on sort of a Batman kick right now with reading.
Since I'm going to be 11 in like 2 years.
You'll be 11 in like a year. You're almost 10.
Well, yeah.
But we both really enjoy Batman. We really like the Batman character.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of Batman animated series. So I talked to Blaze about the Batman Adventures comic. You want to hand that comic again? Which is based on the show, but doesn't follow the show. These were new stories for the comic, but done the Batman Adventures style. This is a really great series, especially for younger fans, because you didn't have to know a ton of Batman history.
Right.
You didn't have to pick up a bunch of issues to get one story. For the most part, you just pick up an issue and read Batman, which I think is sorely missing nowadays, a book where you can just pick it up and read Batman.
Right.
So Blaze is starting off with Batman Adventures. Do you want to tell them what this issue is about?
Well, this is actually the first issue I got when we started going to the comic shop. Well, so Scarecrow has this gang called the Snakes. They're like the Snakes and like Scarecrow are putting all these different things in like TVs, stereos, radios, stuff like that. Whenever they turn them on, they can't read. One of the Snakes regretted kind of working for Scarecrow because it happened on his his mom.
Oh yeah.
And so, in Batman and Robin in the first act, you can tell them what acts are.
Oh, there's 3 acts in the book.
And so like they just come in for like one part of the first act and just beat up the Snakes for a little bit.
Well, you were telling me something about...
Well, yeah, after that they show, like, he thinks he's kind of dreaming, and that's what it starts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so they say, like, he can be a teacher at Arkham if he wants, and he was having flashbacks of being a teacher, like, when he wasn't a villain.
Oh, okay.
And so he has this flashback, and then he's done with the flashback, and he introduces himself to the class, and so this is where you figure out Joker and all different kind of.
Oh, that's in the class.
And he yells out, "Scarecrow, Scarecrow!"
Well, don't tell him everything in the story.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get too detailed.
Yeah, you don't get to. You got pretty detailed there. Yeah. Well, so for the most part, though, the story is about the Snakes gang, and they put these things inside the things, and people are becoming illiterate, which is why the cover's got all these things on it. And then Scarecrow's teaching in Arkham, and then I guess he comes back as Scarecrow at some point.
He has this, like, he's kind of crazy, so he thinks his mask is telling him... He thinks his mask is telling him that he doesn't need to be a teacher, he's a villain.
You don't have to tell him everything.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't need to get this one, because Blaze has told you everything. And this is our first one, so, yeah.
I told you everything except the end.
So, for future videos, Blaze won't tell you everything that happens in the book. He'll just give you the gist of it. We're just now getting the hang of this. So, that's the gist. Would you say you enjoyed the book?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you're going to pick up more Batman Adventures?
Yes.
Okay. It's a great series. You really should get some more. My reading this week that I picked up was Batman Knightfall 3 from the trade paperbacks. I got it volume 3, or finished reading it this week. But in order to get the whole story, you have to get, all 3 volumes in the trade. And they're like $20 a piece. So that's an investment.
I have 1 and 2.
You have 1 and 2. I bought you 1 and 2.
And then I have Superman's Death, and then I have Superman's Return.
Yeah.
And then I wait, let me think. Okay, then I have series.
Do you have to tell them that right now?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. I don't think it matters right now. Okay, this one's really crazy. It's all over.
Got into it.
We're just now starting. What do you want? If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Okay, so this was part 3, and I finished reading this week. But overall, this is the whole story from the 90s where Batman was put out of commission, and a new Batman was brought in, Azrael Batman, to take over, and introduces, Bane as a major villain who's going to be in the new Dark Knight movie. This was the storyline that introduced him and did all those things. I would say that overall, I really enjoyed the story when I was a kid, and I went back and reread it now, and I still like it. I still think it's a solid story. I think that the part 1 is great, because that's the one where Bane breaks everybody out of Arkham, and Batman has to run them all down.
I didn't really understand the robot at the beginning, though.
I don't think there was a robot at the beginning.
What?
Oh, that robot thing? Oh, that's just a robot used to break down the doors.
Oh.
So, this one's really solid. I mean, it shows that Bane's kind of making him run the gauntlet through all these bad guys and wear him down.
He's already tired.
He's already tired, and so they really wear him down.
What?
From all the crime-fighting stuff he'd had to go through up to this point. So that was a really good book, and it ends with the Bane-Batman fight. The second book is not as good as the first one, in my opinion.
You got the wrong one, that's second.
Oh, thank you. The second one is not as good as the first one, but it's still good. It's Batman choosing a replacement, which he chooses John Paul Valley. And I don't think that Batman would have ever done that. I understand they're having to do that for the story to introduce a new Batman. I keep getting text messages. But he really would have chosen Nightwing as his replacement. I don't think that...
Not Robin.
No, Robin was too old.
Yeah.
Robin's young in this.
Yeah.
But this shows Azrael becoming Batman, and him having to take over, and he becomes a very violent, very vindictive Batman. He takes it over the edge. It's sort of like a Punisher version of Batman. This third book, I was kind of disappointed in the fact that
They skipped some.
they skipped a bunch. Like when I was a kid, I remember reading the storyline of Bruce Wayne in his debilitated state, going and finding this doctor and finding Jack Drake and all that stuff, and him getting, healed and things like that, and, the road back to becoming Batman. And all of that is just skipped. You get right to the point where Batman is pretty much, or Bruce is pretty much healed up, and he's back on the quest to take out this Batman. And you miss a lot of the stuff of Azrael Batman really going crazy. It really should have been 4 volumes.
So that's Azrael Batman, and he got
Azrael
kind
Batman.
of crazy and turns evil.
He's getting more and more. He is getting crazy, and he's getting sort of more vindictive and more out of control, and just so Batman has to come back and stop him. And the first part of the book is Batman kind of getting his groove back and becoming Batman again, and then the rest of the book is Batman versus Batman, basically.
Right.
But it's missing a big chunk. This really should have been Volume 4, and there should have been a Volume 3 that explained all those things. So if you're picking up these books, it's going to be a big jump between Part 2 and Part 3. You're going to be missing a lot of stuff. I don't know why they did that. I guess maybe they thought the storyline wasn't good enough to include in this, but it really leaves you kind of wondering what happened.
Right.
How did he get back, and how these things happen. Overall, I really enjoyed the storyline. I thought it was a cool storyline. I'm glad it was a very finite thing. Just like the Death of Superman, I really enjoyed back in the day. And I still enjoy it nowadays. It's not high art, it's just kind of fun comics. And it's definitely 10 times better than stuff that's going on nowadays.
So I need to... Wait, I was gonna say something. Part 1, yes, you're right. It's really good.
2 thumbs up on part 1.
When I read part 2, from what I read so far, now I'm reading all these for our videos.
Yeah.
And so I think part 2 is good from what I read so far.
Yeah.
I don't know how many thumbs up you would give it.
I would give it 1.5. It's not as good as the
From
the
what
first
I read
part.
so far, it's 2.
It's 2 thumbs up for you.
Just
And you haven't read
from
part
what
3. Part 3 I would only give like 1 thumb up because of that huge missing part.
Right. And the main bad guy is not in a lot of it. Bane is the main bad guy in those Knightfall comics.
Well, he is. He's a major part of the first one, and then he's a major part of the second one. But the third one he is not a major part of because he's been captured and stuff. So there you go. There's our first week in comics review, or comics rewind review. We'll see you guys again next week with whatever we decide to pick up.
Right.
I already got my book picked out.
I'm probably going to read one of the comics I have, because I
You got a bunch at the comic convention today. So you'll read one of those.
Yeah.
I'm going to reread the Robin, A Hero Reborn, which is the series that introduces Tim Drake, and, well, not introduces, it's the series leading up to him becoming Robin, and then the first Robin miniseries, which I loved as a kid and I haven't read for years. So that's what I'll be reading this week, and we'll be talking about that next week, right?
Yep.
So we'll sign off on this one. We'll see you guys next time, right?
Yep.
Get out of here. You're still here? Go.
When you did 2 thumbs up, I did this, and then I did this for
I'll do
all
this.
3 comics.
Yeah, surf's up, dude.
I was doing it for all 3 comics.
Maybe. Okay, well, we'll see you guys.